Hey everybody, welcome into Rock Painting 101. I know I probably should be done with hearts by now, but I just can't quit. There's so many fun ways that you can paint hearts, and you don't have to do hearts just for Valentine's Day. You can hide hearts around town any time of year. So I did a pointillism kind of style acrylic heart earlier, and for those of you that are more on the paint pen side of things, I made one for you as well. So grab your paint pens, grab a rock, any base coat will do, and we will try out one of these fun dotted heart rocks. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, so I did this fun pointillism rock using a white acrylic paint and my dotting tools, and it turned out really cute. I will make sure I link to it below, but I wanted to do the same sort of process using paint pens for those of you that follow the channel that do a lot with the paint pens, so that you can see just how easy this can be with paint pens as well. So the first thing we need to do is create a heart for our stone. If you can freehand a heart really easily, go ahead and do that on your rock. For those of you that have a harder time with it, don't feel ashamed to make yourself a template. I always keep my little Post-it notes nearby. I like to use Post-it notes for templates because then you have that one little sticky section. So I fold sticky to sticky there, so that the seam has a little sticky spot on it. And just cut yourself out a template if you need to put your heart on your rock. So you can unfold and you'll have that little sticky spot. So that's why I like to use those. So we're just gonna place this. Let's see, how do we want this to sit? This is how the rock naturally sits. And this is a very shiny rock. I sprayed this with a metallic spray paint a while ago, and I just never did anything with it. So I want it to be a little bit off-centered so that we can kind of have the dots fade away on one side. So use that sticky spot. That will kind of help hold it into place. So I've got my 1M red here, and I'm just gonna trace this heart. I want the inside line to be nice and crisp, but along the outside, it doesn't matter so much. So I'm holding my pen tip a little bit at an angle so that I can make sure that I'm not making it bleed underneath that heart anywhere. And I'm just gonna quickly trace my template here. So once you've got that all the way around, we're just gonna carefully grab underneath there. I did get a little bit under. I have the Q-tip here. Have it wet. You should be able to get that back off if you get to it nice and quickly. My base coat has had plenty of time to dry. There we go, just like that. Keep this Q-tip, wet Q-tip, off to the side. You may need it later along the way, possibly. Okay, so we're gonna start with our biggest paint pen that we have. The biggest one that I personally have is the 5M, which is considered the medium tip. Make sure it's shake it up real well. Make sure you don't have any other colors on there. And look at that, it's not really that wet. As you can see, you can almost see like the little thing. So if you need to pulse your pen, it might be necessary. This one I haven't done in a long time. All right, so you want it, oh, sorry, I was off the screen. So you want it, see how it's not quite as dry. So I don't use my 5Ms as often as my 3Ms and 1Ms. Okay, so I'm gonna go along my line here, and I did smudge inside of there. See if I can still get that off. I didn't see that spot before. If not, we can adjust the shape of our heart a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna go along my line, and I'm going to create kind of these dots along the line, being careful not to let it go past the line. If you leave a couple little areas where your background color comes through, that's okay, you can fill those in later. We basically just want the outside of that dot shape. And I am giving them a little bit of a wiggle to make them a little bit bigger. All the way around. Okay, Now we're gonna go back in with our 1M and fill in any areas where you can see silver through there, and anywhere you might need to crisp up your outline, you can do that. But just kind of fill in any of those dots. We want this to be a solid line of red. Or if you've got an indent in your rock, this rock itself is not super smooth. So if you've got like any little crevices that the paint didn't quite fill in, go ahead and fill it in with your 1M. And there we go. All right, so we're gonna start with our biggest size, and we're gonna start placing some dots around the outer edge of our heart. And you can take them a little bit away from the edge, but mostly we want these big ones pretty close to the heart itself. And you can kind of give it a wiggle to make it a bigger dot, or you can just dot directly to make a little bit of a smaller one. Play around with different sizes and different areas. Eventually, we are going to fill in between these other areas with some smaller ones as well. And we do want a few of the bigger ones that have worked their way maybe a bit from the edge, but not too far with this first size, okay? Next, we're gonna go to our 3M. I haven't gotten that one out yet. Okay. And we're gonna place kind of in between these and further away as well. Couple of them out here, mostly close nearby though. Okay. And now we're going to come in with our smallest, our 1M, and we are going to make it heavily concentrated close to the heart, and we're going to leave it looser dots further away. So make sure your red's flowing well. Look how tiny these dots can get, okay? If you hold it in the same spot a little longer, can we see that on screen? Okay, so if you dab quickly, it can be super tiny dots. If you kind of dab and hold it for a second, look how it's a little bit bigger because the paint will kind of flood in just a little bit. You see those okay? Oops, I just smeared it. So I'm gonna come and do one area here, nice and close for you, so you can see me fill it in, and then I'm gonna speed some of this up a little bit because it does get a bit tedious. So just work your way around these big ones. When you're nice and close to that heart line, and then we're going to scatter them a little bit when we get out here, just a little bit, just to have that red go all the way to the edge, but not filled in. See that? So we'll fill in this area a little bit more, and I'll bring it up close so you can kind of see. And you can wiggle it if you need a bigger dot, if you find an area that could use a bigger dot. It's your rock, you make the decisions. Okay, so see how that's kind of filled in that area, and then it tapers off on the outside edge. So I'm going to continue doing this all the way around the rock, and then we'll check back. And just like that, you have a really fun heart rock. Such a cute design, so easy to replicate. If you don't do the paint pens, check back, I'll link below to creating this style using dotting tools instead. It's just as easy, turns out just as adorable, so that can be done as well. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. And my son told me I need to start telling you to ring the bell so you can get notifications as well when we have a new tutorial. So we'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.